Five. You
Okay.
are the best speaker ever.
Alright, so the other thing that most of you don't have is a title slide. Like, none of you have that. So you want to make sure that you have some kind of title slide, okay, as you will see. Some of you do, some of you don't. Because this will be up behind you when you start talking, okay, so that everyone knows. I don't have my name on here. I think you could also have your name on it, okay? Alright. The English proverb, children should be seen and not heard, means that children are allowed to be present during the conversation, but should not be allowed to speak unless spoken to first. This notion originated in medieval times as a means to keep teenage girls from speaking their mind. True story. Generations later, it is being reinforced by an age-old, generalized perspective of adults, thinking that adolescents are ignorant, irresponsible, self-centered, powerless, lazy, and oblivious to the real world, and perhaps still learning how to be humans, which in all fairness they are. These ideals unfortunately contribute to adults belittling and discounting kids at best, and squelching any hopes for them engaging in progressive civic discourse at worst, keeping an entire generation out of the vital conversations that are shaping a future that in truth belongs to the very ones being silenced. Adolescents are often viewed as rude, disrespectful, or pushing our buttons when they disagree with adults and authority figures, or when they ask tough questions that don't necessarily have a quick, definitive answer. Topping the list of these questions, wait, but why? Which as an adult can sometimes, almost always, be frustrating. I find myself resorting to my parents' tried and true response, because I said so. But on days where my patience is abundant, I pause, I reflect, and actually consider the purpose of my decisions, and I find myself learning far more about my own intentions than I ever would have if I hadn't been questioned. It turns out that there actually is a lot I can learn from adolescents. There's also a lot that I've learned about this age group. In my patient moments, when I have stopped to pay attention to actually listen to what they have to say, I've learned that they are open-minded and curious, empathetic, accepting of others, concerned about the future of the world, creative problem solvers, and motivated to make change. And if you've been living under a rock for the past year, teenagers are some of the most courageous people I have ever seen. So many of them willing to stand up for what they believe in and for justice. They are not afraid to tackle controversial topics. Every generation thinks differently, and adults ultimately have the power, but by dismissing an entire generation, we are missing out on the opportunity to further develop and explore creative ways to solve problems and embrace new ways of thinking that have yet to be stifled by the bitterness that comes with age. In the United States, there are roughly 42 million adolescents between the ages of 10 and 19, with that number expected to grow to 45 million by 2050. For a little perspective, there are nearly 37 million people living in all of Canada. It is more important than ever that this age group not only be listened to, but given a platform. In a world wounded by conflict and divided by poverty, it is absolutely essential that children be embraced, listened to, and given a role in crafting a better future for themselves. Enabling children and adolescents to participate constructively in our communities and nations is crucial to nurturing their inherent optimism and preparing them for a constructive and meaningful adulthood. Today and tomorrow, you will hear voices from the middle, students who are dying to share their ideas and opinions with you, students who are curious, open-minded, empathetic, and courageous, students who are asking tough questions about themselves, their communities, and about our world. Let me tell you what I believe. I believe in potential. I believe that our global community is only as healthy and as strong as the members who make it. I believe that we can untap our potential at an early age, and we can acknowledge our weaknesses, accept our faults, and capitalize on our strengths to contribute to the one thing that is constant in this world: change. I believe in their potential. potential to change the world. Thank you.
Are you gonna give that before we all go?